Hello, everyone. This will be video exclusive temporarily because I know in advance this is going to be too good. It will come out later across my audio platforms, but later. So today, Monday, March 30th, 2026, being recorded, will drop Tuesday the 31st is a video exclusive across my video channels. So yes, those listening on audio only are reading the transcript. Yes, weeks, couple months potentially after March 31st, it drops on video exclusive. It'll come across the audio only platforms. Tentatively, loosely, I'm using air quotes there for those on video. They can see on audio. You can't see it, obviously. Duh, right? Loosely in air quotes, titled Medicare Fraud. Touch on a little other thing. But so first, not Medicare fraud. We all know the taxpayer debased fraud of the left money laundering programs of the daycare centers in Minneapolis, Minnesota area, as well as exposed now also in California and exposed a lot more other blue enclaves too. What a shock, what a surprise. And yet Doge is going nowhere. It was a game, it was a gimmick. Although J.D. Vance was Doge, putting that in air quotes again, right? Department of Government Efficiency Fraud Task Force, J.D. Vance put in charge, held the first thing, I think today, Monday, March 30th. So there finally some looking into it. Why does it take the vice president? Why isn't congressional oversight committees doing this? What happened to Doge in Congress? And at the White House? Where'd it go? We've known forever waste, fraud, and abuse. Tons of fraud. Year after year after year. This group, that group, some other group exposes it, and nobody goes to jail. Kristi Noem shouldn't have been fired. Pam Bondi should be fired. People need to be charged, prosecuted, and put behind bars. Blondie, as I call her, Pam Blondie, right? Glamming for the cameras. Now, Kristi Noem glammed for the camera in that ad that became controversial. To me, that's not controversial. I've talked about it before, but let me briefly. So she spent 200 what? Million or billion? 200 billion, let's say, on an ad trying to get illegals to use the self-deport app. I don't have a problem with that because I understand math and economics and basic accounting, debits and credits. Spend 200 billion to save 750 billion if you had to then send out ICE teams to round them up, those who self-deported because of her ad. We maybe, again, I've not seen the numbers, so I'm using arbitrary numbers here, but spend 250 billion, save 500 billion. That's a good deal, morons. Kristi Noem shouldn't have been fired. Pam Glam for the cameras, Blondie Bondi needs to be fired. The Kristi Noem commercial, good thing. Proper use of our money to save other monies. But no one in Washington has common sense, except Kristi Noem, it appears, who got, well, not fired. I talked about this in a bit, right? She's now bumped over to SHIELD. So it's not really a firing. It's not really a demotion. It's a lateral move to head up SHIELD rather than be head of DHS but the way I see it is appease the left-hearts crying, which you're never going to appease them. They're going to ask for every cabinet member to be fired, and they're going to continue to ask for Trump to be impeached, and then Vance as president to be impeached. So why appease them? Republican base? Yes, would be about time a Republican president answer to the Republican base. Fire Pam Bondi. Also demand Speaker Thune be ousted. The rhinos got to go. Okay, back to the Medicare fraud. We touched on those issues. We touched on the fraud with the daycare centers. Medicare fraud been an issue forever, as long as Medicare has been around. I've directly seen it in our family. We didn't catch it. We didn't know it right away. When my dad was ailing after a stroke, we got outside care at a firm, but we didn't know. They came in taking care of dad, helping with dad. Also, mom was aged, needed help too, was helping with mom. We didn't know that the Medicare, the way it's set up, there are lapses. You can get coverage and the help for a while, but then it lapses. Then it picks back up again. They reapplied. So what this firm was doing, technically speaking, fraud-wise, mom at that point didn't really qualify for the help, but they were billing dad to help dad. And when his dropped, they billed for mom. We didn't know it. We didn't see it. We didn't pay enough. Partly on us for not paying attention to the Medicare things that, right? I'm holding up a different piece of paper from another healthcare, my Medicare Advantage thing. I'll get into that in a minute. But the Medicare things they send you, the coverage, they were billing for dad, then in the off time, they were billing for mom, then back to dad, then back to mom. Technically, fraud. In order to keep serving dad, they were billing mom. Now, again, at the same time, they were helping with mom to a degree. Occasionally, she was getting B12 shots needed for energy and whatnot, and her vitals checked. But fraud right under our noses. We didn't see it. They got caught. We found out about it when others picked up on it, reported it, and Medicare came and shut them down. No more care. We had to get other care because they were shut down for Medicare fraud. It's been around forever. We all know it, but yet nothing gets done about it. Most times people don't go to jail. Now, in the case of that, they were shut down. Their licenses pulled and whatnot. Now, I don't know if anyone went to jail for it or not. Now, again, it was a case of foreigners operating a business, and perhaps they fled back to where they came from. I don't know. I don't know that part of the story. So only speculating. It could have happened. Don't know if it did happen. Somebody might have gone to jail, but we certainly never heard about it. Chances are, a lot of cases with these fraud, we're shutting you down, we're taking your license, and they just move to the next city over and reopen under a new name. Commit the same fraud over and over again. So that, again, speculation, I don't know, might have happened, could have happened. We've certainly seen it happening, but nothing gets done about it. People don't go to jail, and the fraud just keeps going on. But I'm mainly ranting and raving today like a lunatic because Medicare Advantage coverage. I am on disability. I think most of you know that. Been since 2004. So I have Medicare. So as part of that, I have Part C and Part D through a regular healthcare provider, a Medicare Advantage program. I'm not going to say which provider. No, I'm not going to dox myself. Doesn't matter. Whichever, there's countless numbers of them you could be on, or your parents or your grandparents could be on. Talk to them about it. Have a conversation. The Medicare Advantage handles the bills for Medicare. They cover a little above what Medicare does at times not, but they process the claims for Medicare. Now, why am I ranting and why is this fraud to a degree? Let me hang in there with me, please. Got a bill from a doctor. I had heart surgery, TAVR, heart valve, main aortic valve replacement surgery done by TAVR. Thankfully, they didn't have to crack open my chest and do open heart. So, main aortic valve replaced last year, May of last year. It's March now, almost a year later, and a bill shows up from a doctor. And so I called the Medicare Advantage provider, said, this doctor sent me a bill for basically $3,900. What is this about? And after the conversation, found out they did try to bill it incorrectly through the Medicare Advantage plan. And as a Medicare provider, they agree to the Medicare contract. They agree as part of that, they can't bill me the $3,900. Illegal, fraud. They tried to see if they could sucker me into paying $3,900 because they incorrectly and were denied payment by the Medicare Advantage provider, which is there to safeguard to some degree our Medicare dollars for being part of the heart replacement surgery back in May of last year. And now that the clock is running out to properly collect through Medicare, it's $3,900. Medicare, we're guessing, might approve $1,500, $2,000 of it. And then I might be responsible for 20% of that. But that would be the top under the agreement they agreed to be responsible. So let's say $2,000. I'd be responsible for a $400. I don't got the $400. Where it's coming from, I don't know. But whole other story. I would have to work out a payment plan or beg through Give, Send, Go. Again, for medical needs help. Again, I have full disclosure, have in the past. Thank you all to those who have helped me with past medical bills, or when the tree came down on the house was it 2 years ago now? And insurance, of course, only covers so much for help with that. Didn't have the money. You don't have it. What are you going to do? You can't leave. The tree literally knocked the electrical line off the house. That can't be left sitting there. I had power, but eventually more weather come through might have taken out the power to the house, so it had to be taken care of. Where did that money come from? Thank you to generous people for helping with that, as well as the insurance. Again, I don't want to say their name, but they finally stepped up after months of pushing and prodding and getting the contractors that took care of the electrical and the tree involved in pushing and prodding to cover the cost, most of the cost, minus my deductible and, whatever. I had to pay out of pocket some. Thank you to those who helped me. Back to the fraud. So if the amount is, they billed $3,900, if Medicare approves $2,000, I'd be responsible for 20%, $400. Medicare would pay $1,600. That is all this provider, this doctor, and their office can legally attempt to bill me. But yet I am holding a bill here where they tried to get $3,900 out of me. That is fraud. And now, not only do I intend to, and thank you to the healthcare provider, the Medicare Advantage, it did call them now, finally, something they could have done in October. Like, they billed it in September, it was wrong. They billed it in October, it was still wrong. The health insurance Medicare Advantage plan told them both times, it's wrong. If you need help, call us, we'll help you get it right so that it's processed. But did they appeal or call to attempt to get it rebuilt properly so they would be paid in October? No, they waited through November and December and January and February and now the end of March and tried to collect the whole amount illegally. So I expect, and next time in 30 days, I'm going to be calling back to check, is the bill there? Is it processed yet? I not only want, I demand, you now know this MD attempted fraudulent billing. Report it. And I want a copy of the report, and I want a copy of the report sent to, I'm in the state of Michigan, Michigan House Healthcare Committee, Michigan Senate Healthcare Committee Chair. Michigan has, of course, bodies where fraud is supposed to be reported. I want to be on a letter with all those people copied that I know they all got a copy, and to Medicare in DC and to committees in DC, fraud was attempted. What is going to be done about it? I'm somewhat sympathetic. Thank you to these doctors. TAVR heart surgery, what a miracle. This guy really was there as a secondary doctor, just watching the procedure. If the TAVR, if the artery wouldn't have been accessible or open all the way through, they would have had to have stopped partway through the procedure, cracked open my chest, and done open heart surgery. This doctor would have done that. But he didn't do that. He basically sat there and, oh, yeah, you're doing a good job. Keep it up. I'm here if you need me, but do a good job. And thought he was going to get $3,900 out of me for that, for being a seal on the sideline. Yay, good job, keep going. The guy who did the surgery processed the bill properly. I've seen it. They've been paid. They're not begging me for more money beyond what I'm legally required and obligated to cover as my part of Medicare, and that's another thing. People don't understand. Oh, Medicare covers everything, does it? No. There's automatically a 20% your part due on top of the fact that you've paid into the Medicare system for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. You may have paid into Medicare. You might be 80 and paid into Medicare 60 years as part of the fake FICA, right? The FICA is broken down, Social Security, into Social Security and Medicare. I think the Medicare part is 1.5% of your income up to a level. Well, that up to a level needs to be bumped up. The percentage doesn't need to change, but the bump up level does. It's adjusted for inflation, but that ain't cutting it. And if the fraud were cut out, they wouldn't need to change anything. There's money there. It's not going bankrupt due to problem. It's going bankrupt due to fraud. Just like Social Security, those identified people 200 plus years of age supposedly collecting Social Security. And I've done a show on this. Please go back in the catalog and look it up. Now, could some of those people supposedly 250 plus been around longer than our nation's been a nation? And certainly 2.5 times longer than Social Security's actually been a thing? Could some of those be data errors? Sure. But you've got to kick those out and say, investigate these. Have someone present a birth certificate. Are you, and a copy of the driver's license, proof of life, and your actual age. Then we update the system if you're only 65 years old and you still keep collecting Social Security. But if you're not a real person, then you're gone. You're kicked off. These systems are going bankrupt due to fraud. And the left wants to do nothing about it. And I'm not letting the rhinos off the hook either. They're not willing to do enough about it either. Just turn a blind eye and coast. Fire Pam Bondi. Get Thune out of the Senate. And other cabinet members. If they're not going to do the job of getting rid of this waste, fraud, and abuse, they must be fired and maybe go to jail themselves for being complicit in the fraud. Looking the other way, letting it go. Oh, just keep spending. It's just the taxpayer money. It isn't really their money. And then when it does go, Medicare or Social Security does go bankrupt, real people, real citizens who will have their benefits cut will suffer, not the ones engaged in the fraud. So, wrapping it up, we have to do something about all this fraud. Bring back Elon again as another temporary, for whatever, the 90-day program under a new title, so he can be brought back in under the new title for 90 days. Carve it out in the law. That's allowed. But we need Elon back, or somebody high profile who will indeed come out before the cameras and give a report every week. This is what we're doing. This is what we found. And Congress needs to get off its ass and put together a bill to fix it, to cut out that spending, and to demand people go to jail, refer to Pam Bondi, and not Pam Bondi, whoever replaces her, actually prosecute people. Okay, I don't know how long I've rambled, so I'm going to end it here. I've gone too long. Thank you all. Take care. God bless. But like I've said in other videos, though, let me close. What are you doing? What are you doing? Rather than screaming at the TV or posting on social media about it, are you calling House members, Senate members, the White House, Pam Bondi's office? Are are you writing letters to those people, or even just to the letters to the editor of your paper? If 12 of you send in a letter, maybe one of the 12, but your letter showing you're one of 12 pressures the paper to publish one of those letters about this topic. What are you doing? I don't want to hear what you're saying. I want to know what you're actually doing to matter. Doing that does matter. Are you showing up to Republican committee meetings? You whine about the rhinos. Are you going to the meetings and demand the rhinos be removed? Or are you just whining about it online? Go to the meetings. Find out where they are, show up, attend, speak your piece. There where it matters. Be a delegate. Are you a delegate? It takes very little to be a delegate. If not, why not? Oh, the game. Oh, there's a basketball, hockey, football, MLB game on. You can't give up one of those. You can't skip one game in a week to go to a meeting. Really, you're part of the problem. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of. I'm tired of the. But one person, no. But one person and one person and one person, if you all got off your ass and did it together, you'd be an insurmountable force. But all of you are being lazy and unwilling to do anything. And I'm older on disability with health issues. So I have health and financial issues that prevent me from doing those things that I used to do all the time. I didn't just talk the talk, I walked the walk. It's time for you to step up. Step up. Now, I know a lot of you are, I'm sorry, I apologize. Because some of you, I'm preaching to the choir here, you're doing those things. If you're doing those things, you can also then like, share, subscribe on this show. In this episode, you can share the link via email to people you know need to hear this, people you know aren't doing anything. They probably won't even look at the video because they're too lazy, but why is that stopping you from sending it to 30 people in your email list, in your email contacts? You can't excuse their laziness with your laziness. What are you doing? Emailing, like, share, subscribe. You don't even have to get off your couch to do that. Come on, people. Like I wrote at thelibertybeacon.com. No, you cannot rest. No, Trump. Oh, we elected Trump. I voted. So what? You voted. One person, no king's rallies. No shit, there isn't a king. One person can't do it all. What candidates are you supporting? You keep letting rhinos get elected. Why aren't you supporting a real conservative Republican? Helping their campaign, donating their campaign to replace some of these rhinos, to get Trump some help. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do something. You can't rest. Trump can't do it all. Ted Cruz can't do it all. Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, even the couple dozen real good ones we have in government, they can't do it by themselves against the entire swamp, deep state, commie-fascist sociocrats, and CNOs, conservatives in name only, or constitutionalists in name only, and rhinos. They're up against all that. They need us to be involved. Change.org/We the People Demand List. Change.org, We the People Demand List. You don't have to get off your couch to digitally sign that and digitally share that. Change.org / we the people demand list, a new and better than contract with the America, than contract with America. And demanding those that are running for office pledge to the we the people demand list. Not that, oh, I will support a vote coming to the floor. No, 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 no. You will demand a vote come to the floor, and you will vote positive yes for the measures in the we the people demand list, not the Gingrich contract dodge. Oh, we'll bring it up for a vote. And not all of those items even did come up for a vote. Oh, a lot of them came up for a vote, got voted down. We did. Hey, I kept my promise. We'd bring it to the floor for a discussion and a vote. No, you will demand it come to the floor, and you will vote for it, and you will twist arms and kick asses of others in the Republican Party to make sure it passes. Each item in there. Okay, now I've really gone long. Take care. God bless. Love you all.